Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Emily and today I'm going to share with you some layouts that I've created with my Inspired By kit that I shared a few weeks ago now. My kit is based off the new Vicki Boutin for 49 Market collection called Flower Emporium. I tried my best to record what supplies I was using for my layouts. The 12 by 12s, I know for sure I definitely used 14 pieces of paper. The 6 by 8s, I believe there should be another couple of sheets that should have been recorded on here. I just got too caught up in creating, I think. I also need to update my layouts because I ended up completing 4. The layouts I have to share today are all from the one trip that we took many years ago. I will need to go back and look at the date when we took this trip. I have a feeling that it could be maybe 10 years ago. The first paper I was inspired by is this one. With the grid, the torn edge and the notebook edge on the side here. Here is my first layout. As you can see elements from the inspiration sheet and doesn't look quite the same, and I just love this, and it surprised me. I use my notebook edge punch for the border, and this is the first time that I've actually had a go at distressing the edge, and I quite like it. It matches in quite well. I've also got the ripping of other layers at the top and bottom. When I pulled out the grid paper for the top, I wanted to keep this notebook edge at the top. I liked the look that's on the branding strip. So I just cut my paper accordingly so it matches in, and I just covered the hole with an enamel dot. I've got a cluster at the top where I'm just going to write the date of our trip. I've finished off with a cluster down the bottom, and my title is here, Captured This Memory. My second layout was based on this one, and in my kit share I know I spoke a lot about what I could do based on this piece here. This is my layout. As you can see, I decided to go with the full circle for my layout instead of trying to do the piecing of scraps, which was my initial idea, and using this as a template. So I did actually cut the circle in its entirety out. I backed it on the mixed media paper just to bring the orange out, and I gave my layout a full mat of the craft text paper. I did gut the outside just so I had the paper to use on other layouts. I used my embellishments to decide what I was going to do. I wanted to use the film strips because I always buy them, and not many end up on layouts. I used a scrap from my first layout to add to the distressing. I also just looked through my embellishments and I found the pie circle from Fernwood, and I decided to add that in behind my photo slide. And I've just simply finished off with some tickets, some butterflies, and some other layering bits and pieces at the bottom and at the top to finish this one off. Again, I will just add the date, the location at the top, and this one's also done. My next layout is based on this one. You may remember on my video talking about what I thought I could do to replicate this in some way. Here is my layout. I decided to cut the squares out and place them exactly like you see on this paper here. I also have the text in the background. I decided to mat this one. Again, I cut the middle out, and I do need to add tape to the bottom. I'll do that before the layout goes away. The photos are from a winery that we visited while we were on this weekend away. I also wanted to fussy cut the flowers, which was inspired by this other sheet that is in the collection. And I just placed them around my journaling block here. I added some puffies and some buttons just to add a little bit more to this cluster here. The next layout, I don't think was inspired by a sketch. It was more about the papers I wanted to use. Here is the left-hand side of my double page layout. Can you believe it? I did actually use the purple and the rainbow piece of paper that I had been hoarding for some time. And I'm so glad that I decided to use it. I also fussy cut the 6x8 for my flowers to match the collection I was using. The puffies are from Discover and Create. The papery is from Discover and Create as well, and they match quite well with Storyteller. Here is the right hand side. The photos I had told me what my layout needed to be. I did cut them down just so there was plenty of space for me to embellish. I knew I wanted to do that. I also wanted to add the notebook edge on this one. I could have repeated the distressing and also maybe the paper tearing on this one. I think that would have looked good as well. I do think that I would have had to have continued it maybe onto this green grid as well. The reason I didn't is how would I have repeated it over on the left hand side. I had considered maybe tucking under my frame here. The only thing I'll add to this now is the date down the bottom. And this layout's ready to go away. I will just show you this. I apologise if there's glare. I've kept my scraps and 6x8s in this plastic bag just to make it easy to see what I have. And I have been keeping my full 12x12 separate, and I've tried to keep all the papers that inspired me to include them in this kit in order, which is not always easy to do when I'm creating, because I just want to dig in and play. For the embellishments I had played with, I have got a smaller tub here. So they're the butterflies, got the papery from Discover and Create, I've got the stickers from Bold and Bright, frames, the wooden buttons, the enamel dots from 49er Market, the flowers that I fussy cut. I still call them an embellishment, even though they started out as a 12 by 12. My film strips and the die cuts. What's next for this kit? I plan to downsize this kit, papers and embellishments, because I have got parts of the Vicki Boutin and 49er Market collection on its way. I expect it will be here early this week. I also plan to choose another set of sketches to spark my creativity. And I hope to show you those layouts soon. It will probably be towards the end of May, I would say, next month. I hope you've enjoyed seeing the layouts I shared today. I hope it's inspired you. And I look forward to chatting again with you soon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye.